Jaws drop when J. Prince walks in, not because he's loud, but because he doesn't have to be. $10 million in diamonds sits on his body like it belongs there. Not locked away. Not staged for social media. It's on his wrist, across his chest, wrapped around his fingers, ice, so heavy it tells a story before he ever opens his mouth. And that's the difference. He doesn't chase attention. Attention follows him. Because every piece he wears is a receipt from a life that started in one of Houston's harshest corners and climbed all the way to the top without asking permission. Born James L. Smith in 1965, he came up in the 5th Ward, the Bloody Nickel, a place where survival was the first skill you learned. Poverty wasn't a phase, it was the environment. His mother had him at 16. Tragedy hit early when his sister lost her life. That kind of pain doesn't fade, it hardens you, sharpens your decisions, and changes what success even means. That he wasn't handed a lane. He built football, odd jobs, welding trucks, whatever it took to move forward. Then life hit again. Laid off from a bank job at 20. Most people stall there. He pivoted, started flipping cars, turned hustle into capital. And then came the move that changed everything, founding Rap-A-Lot Records in 1986 out of the 2nd floor of an auto shop that had no industry backing. No cosigns, just vision and pressure. While New York and LA dominated hip-hop, he planted a flag in the South and said, "Watch this." He signed the Ghetto Boys, pushed raw, controversial records that shook the culture, and forced the industry to pay attention. When we can't be stopped, dropped, Southern hip-hop wasn't a side conversation anymore, it was undeniable. And he did it independently. Distribution deals came later, priority, Virgin, Asylum, but ownership stayed with him. Masters, publishing, control. Moves artists are still learning today. He was executing in the early 90s. Even Jay-Z acknowledged it when J. Prince speaks. It holds weight. Then he doubled down. In 1999, he stepped into boxing, managing elite fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr., Andre Ward, and Shakur Stevenson. Music and boxing, two high-stakes industries, both feeding the same machine. That machine built real wealth. Publishing royalties, real estate, business equity, long-term control. And instead of burning it, he converted it into something tangible, something untouchable by contracts or market crashes. Jewelry. But not the kind you flash for applause, the kind that marks chapters. That a watch isn't just a watch, it's a milestone. Think presidential Rolexes, fully iced, 6 figures easy. Add in high-end pieces like Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe, suddenly the wrist alone carries millions. Chains? Not accessories, armor. Thick Cuban links, flooded with VVS diamonds, each one weighing like the journey it represents. $500,000, $1 million, more. Then come the pendants. This is where it gets personal. Custom pieces that reflect legacy. Rap-A-Lot logos, career-defining moments, cultural impact frozen in diamonds. These aren't just designs, they're monuments you can wear. Rings? Power signals. Quiet, but loud in the right room. Heavy gold, flawless stones, 6 figures each. The kind of pieces that say everything without saying a word. Stack it all: watches, chains, pendants, rings, bracelets, and suddenly that $10 million estimate doesn't sound wild. If anything, it sounds careful. Now here's where people get it twisted, that hip-hop is full of legendary jewelry moments. Lil Uzi Vert put a $24 million diamond in his forehead. Rick Ross turned his own face into a pendant. Lil Jon had record-breaking chains, but that's artist energy, big, bold, expressive. But J. Prince? He's not the performer, he's the architect. He's the one who built the stage, negotiated the deals, protected the business, and made sure the money lasted longer than the moment. His jewelry isn't about proving he made it, it's proof that he survived it. Every diamond is pressure turned into permanence. So when he walks into a room, it's not just wealth you're seeing. It's decades of strategy, resilience, and quiet dominance compressed into gold and stone. Because at that level, you don't wear jewelry to be seen, you wear it because every piece remembers what it took to get there. And it refuses to. He's the one who signs the checks. He's the one who closes the deals. He's the one making calls artists can't even get returned. And when J. Prince steps into a room, the energy shifts before he says a single word. Here's where it gets different at that level. Jewelry isn't decoration, it's communication. Not for cameras, not for music videos, not for Instagram. It's for boardrooms, backrooms, and high-stakes conversations where reputations are currency. When he sat across from Lyor Cohen learning the major label chessboard, when he negotiated distribution with Virgin Records, when he linked with Floyd Mayweather Jr. to build a boxing empire, those diamonds weren't flexing. They were signaling authority, longevity, control. And if you still think that's just hype, remember this. During the peak of the Drake versus Pusha T feud, arguably one of the biggest rap clashes of the decade, one move from J. Prince shut it down. No diss track, no escalation, just a decision. That's not fame. That's power the streets respect and the industry obeys. That's what his jewelry is really saying that IT tells every room. This man has survived federal pressure, industry politics, and street-level realities and came out owning everything. It says he's been doing this longer than most careers in the building. It says the $10 million in ice on his body isn't even the main focus because his mind is on the deal that could move millions more. That's mogul language. The culture recognized it early. Jay-Z shouted out Rap-A-Lot's influence. The Notorious B.I.G. felt it firsthand when J. Prince personally showed up on a video set to warn him about real danger in the streets. That wasn't publicity, that was presence. 2 weeks later, tragedy struck. The industry mourned. J. Prince had already tried to change the outcome, but that's the level he operates on. And that's why the jewelry hits different. Because it's not just about what it communicates, it's about what it represents. A kid from Houston's Fifth Ward, a place designed to trap you, built something undeniable. Then he turned that success into visible proof. Not theory, not motivation quotes. Physical evidence. Every chain says you can make it out. Every watch says ownership matters. Every ring says respect is earned, then enforced. That message didn't stop with him. He passed it down. His memoir, The Art and Science of Respect, breaks it all the way down: heart, loyalty, commitment. The same principles that turned Rap-A-Lot into a powerhouse and built a multi-industry empire. His sons carried the blueprint forward. J. Prince Jr. kept the brand alive, while Jazz Prince helped discover Drake and connect him to Lil Wayne, a move that reshaped modern hip-hop. That's legacy in motion. And then there are the moments that feel almost unreal. When Steve Francis had his chain snatched in Houston, J. Prince didn't tweet about it, he made a call. The chain came back, untouched. No chaos, no headlines, just resolution. Same energy when YBN Almighty Jay got robbed in New York within days. The situation was handled and the chain returned. Even French Montana stepped in as a bridge. That's not money talking, that's reputation moving. Zoom out and you'll see something bigger than one man's collection. Hip-hop jewelry has always been deeper than shine. From Run DMC rocking thick gold ropes, to Eric B. and Rakim turning gold into identity, to Jay-Z elevating luxury in the 90s, it's always been a statement and a response to a world that said you're worth nothing. Moguls took that statement and leveled it up. Because behind the scenes, they were generating the real money, building the infrastructure, controlling the rights. And like the artists, they wore that success as a declaration to the industry, to their neighborhoods, to every system that tried to shut them out. J. Prince is the purest version of that. He built Rap-A-Lot Records from scratch and never gave it away, kept ownership when others sold out, expanded into boxing, real estate, and long-term assets, invested back into his community. And through every era, he kept stacking piece by piece, decade by decade, until that collection became what it is now, $10 million in jewelry. But that number barely scratches it. Because the real value isn't the diamonds, it's the story attached to them. A Rap-A-Lot medallion from the 90s isn't just gold and stones, it's a piece of hip-hop history. These aren't accessories, they're artifacts. The kind that end up in exhibitions, studied as symbols of a cultural revolution that changed the world. Every chain is a chapter. Every watch is a deal closed. Every ring is a bond sealed without paperwork. Every pendant is a legacy that outlived the moment it was created. This isn't about showing off, that it's about making legacy visible, that it's about a man who came from nothing, built something untouchable, and chose to wear the proof on his body not for applause, but as a reminder of what it took to get there. No press runs. No flashy breakdowns. No need to explain. The room already understands. Because to sit where J. Prince sits You have to survive everything: industry games, federal pressure, street politics, and still come out owning your name, your business, and your future. You have to mentor legends, shape careers, and influence moments that never make headlines. You have to move in silence and still be heard everywhere. So yet $10 million in jewelry. But that's just the visible part. The real wealth is the respect, the reach, and the reputation behind it, the kind no appraiser can price, no deal can replicate, and no spotlight can create. And that's why when J. Prince walks into a room, the diamonds don't introduce him, they just confirm what everybody already knows. Thanks for watching, and like video. Subscribe for more content like this.